What's going on, everybody? This is Lady Luck here again. Yes, we're cranking it out. So, Candace Owens is making headlines internationally everywhere. And I must say, not for all the right reasons. So, we have a video here that she did on her podcast where she uh, shows the best friend of Charlie Kirk on another podcast, just kind of addressing some of the rumors and conspiracies that we all know Candace has single-handedly put out there about Charlie Kirk, because no one else is really putting that out there like she is. And because she has a large platform, people are listening and running wild with it. So I wanted to be fair and just show the best friend of Charlie Kirk and his response to it. I want you all to pay attention to Candace's disposition and her facial expressions, right? Because it's a very telltale sign here. So in the meantime, before we get to it, make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe to the Lady Luck Club. We are aiming for 30,000 subs by September 30th. I am praying that we get there, because I'm excited about the growth of this channel and the direction of this channel. Great content coming out, interviews coming up this week with some fantastic content creators and writers that can help bring more insight on a couple of the subjects that we're researching, reporting on here in the LLC. So you do not want to miss out. Hit the like button, subscribe, share the content, and leave your questions and thoughts and comments below. Like I said, did not keep up with Charlie Kirk. So for him to have a close best friend that is having to come out to debunk some of the things that Candace is saying, it shows a lot about the relationship that Charlie Kirk had with Candace Owens. But, you know, you let her tell it. They were best buddies and almost brother-sister. So either way, let's get to it. Make sure you guys, please leave comments and questions in the comment section. That all of that adds to the algorithm. And I would just love to hear what you guys have to say about this. So let's get to it.
All right. So Andrew Colbert, obviously, he's been a topic of discussion. He did the Charlie show with him. And so he sat next to Charlie throughout all of that. They were very close. He's also the PR agent for Turning Point USA. And he's also the one that issued the statement, therefore, about what is now being termed the other magic bullet. And magic bullet being the first one, JFK. It kind of seems like when the government might be involved, you know, bullets tend to have magical properties. Anyways, I've said yesterday, his job is pretty tough. And it's made even tougher by the fact that if he's told to say something, he has to say it. That's just how it works in PR. And I'm sure there are lawyers involved as well. He went on to the Alex Clark podcast. Now, it was kind of billed. I think people were expecting, but actually Alex Clark never did say that Erica Kirk was going to be the one to answer questions pertaining to Charlie and to clear up some rumors about his personal life. She teased that, you know, that you were going to get unfiltered answers to burning questions like, quote, was Charlie converting to Catholicism? Again, I have no idea who said he was converting to Catholicism. I feel like it's like intentionally misrepresenting what was said. Also, she was going to answer, did he take?
She did state that he was praying to the rosary. I mean, she stated also that she sent the text jokingly saying, hey, why don't you just convert all the way? You know, you're too good for, you're too smart or too intelligent, something along those lines, to be a Protestant. I mean, these statements do add up to have more meaning than you realize, Candace.
$150 million from Israel. Again, not something that we said on this show. And again, like I told you, they're going to address the SD cards. Now, I was very clear, and I am still kind of shocked by the reaction from the evangelical community. It was totally...
Does Candace realize that we can just go back to her other video clips and play what she said? There's no reason to lie about something so silly. This is what happens when you're a pathological liar. You forget the lies that you told just yesterday.
It didn't make any sense to me. A, because Erica's a cradle Catholic. I said Charlie was attending the mass because he was. I said Charlie was praying the rosary because he was. And I said that as a Catholic, of course, I was egging him to take the next step. Who wouldn't? Of course you want, whatever your faith is, if you're evangelical and someone's taking...
So you just proved everyone right. You were egging him on to just take the final step into Catholicism, because that's what you said.
About converting, you're going to want to egg them on. That totally makes sense. And it wasn't said in an evil capacity.
Why would you egg
I said
them on?
The joke that I said to Charlie, take the next step. You're too smart to be a Protestant. That's a descriptor of our relationship.
And no, you saying that to him is a description of you wanting him to become a Catholic. You don't sit here and egg someone on to convert whatever religion they practice, or anything about their spirituality. It doesn't make sense. That's not normal conversation talk. It's not things that people just say arbitrarily to each other, especially if you know who he is and you respected his relationship with God. You wouldn't have said that.
We were like brother and sister. It's said in humor and in jest. Hey guys, I was Protestant like 5 minutes ago. And so I felt like people were looking for reasons to be offended and wanted somebody to come out and slap that down and say, no, he wasn't attending the mass, and, kind of caging this like it was a war for Charlie. It's like, no, he never.
I mean, you realize that you saying this stuff, he just recently died. I mean, it will have a lot of meaning because he's not here to defend it. And other people are having to defend it. And they don't have the rest of their lives to keep defending, Charlie Kirk against your dumb conspiracies. You're admitting that you said these things, but yet you want to go back and change the perception of it. Well, that's to the, it's like beauty being in the eye of the beholder. You can't tell someone how to process the information, especially when you're not clear on what you meant. Say what you mean and mean what you say, and keep living.
Took the first step in converting, but I think going to the mass and praying the rosary, obviously it's going to get Catholics excited. Anyways, let's start with that. Andrew's response to the Catholic question. Take a listen.
Was he becoming Catholic?
No, but he really loved Catholic mass. He loved the ritual of it. He loved the beauty of old Catholic churches and the stained glass.
And him and Erica would go sometimes.
Yeah, well, Erica's a cradle Catholic, but she ended up kind of like me. I grew up Catholic in First Communion and went to Catholic high school, but then I ended up becoming a Christian in college through a Protestant church, through a non-denominational kind of more
Catholics are
experience.
Christian.
It was actually Presbyterian, and then it was kind of non-denominational. And I think Erica kind of follows that same path. She and I share that.
Also, by the way, I just want to draw attention to, she's posted a photo of her and Charlie and the kids in mass before, and somebody in the comment section said, oh, are you guys converting? And she said, no, we just like attending sometimes. So she herself had said no.
Yeah,
probably.
and I think Charlie, one of the things, Charlie really hated worshiping in like a gym, or some sort of kind of blank space that you just turn into church. There's no problem. He didn't have a problem with the act of that. He just didn't prefer it. And he loved, again, the ritual, the ancient, feel of a Catholic mass, and the fact that everybody around the world that was worshiping as Catholic, he loved that. So he had some really big theological hangups with that. You can go check the videos out, him debating with Michael Knowles, in good fun. I mean, they were dear friends, but they loved kind of debating the whole Protestant versus Catholic thing.
So I didn't lie about anything.
Yes, you did. You lied and said that Catholics aren't Christians. So let me help you out. Sit tight, Candace, for a second, if you don't mind, because I think you need to see this. You're saying Catholics aren't Christians. Okay. So here we go. We're going to share this. I just, I hate misinformation like this. It's something that can be Googled. If you don't agree with it, that's one thing. But, I just have to make sure that I have the correct information up if I'm going to hear, and, we're going to go into the differences of which, God, here it is. All right, so this is from www.diffin.com. Catholicism versus Christianity. Catholicism is the largest denomination of Christianity. All Catholics are Christians, but not all Christians are Catholics. Hence how you can be Protestant, Gnostic, Mormon, a follower of Jesus Christ, evangelical, Anglican, or Orthodox. Yeah. Catholicism is the largest denomination of Christianity. Yeah, that's it right there. All Catholics are Christians, but not all Christians are Catholic. So I will have the link to this article in the description of the video. But once again, Candace being loud and wrong It's just absurd. Why? Why, Candace? You talking about you didn't lie? You didn't Google either. It's a Google search.
And yeah, he was attending mass. And so usually if you are ritualistically attending mass, meaning he likes the ritual of it, I'm not sure what that means. Like, I don't understand what we're doing. It just feels weird. And to say he converted to Christian, Catholics are Christian. So, he said, like, I think Andrew said, I converted to Christianity. I went from being a cradle Catholic. And yeah, there was no question that Erica
did she just say it herself?
Converted to Christian, Catholics are Christian. So,
okay, so she said Catholics are Christians.
But he really loved Catholic mass. He loved the ritual of it. He loved the beauty of old Catholic churches and the stained glass.
And him and Erica would go sometimes.
Yeah, well, Erica's a cradle Catholic, but she ended up kind of like me. I grew up Catholic in First Communion and went to Catholic high school, but then I ended up becoming a Christian in college through a Protestant church, through a non-denominational kind of more
Catholics are
experience.
Christian.
It's actually Presbyterian, and then it was kind of non-denominational. And I think Erica kind of follows that same path. She and I share that.
Also, by the way, I just want to draw attention to.
Okay, she said Catholics are Christian based on the captions below. I wanted to make sure I heard that correctly because I heard Catholics aren't Christian. So if that's what she said, then she's right. Fundamentally, Catholics are Christian. But I think he's debunking some of the other things that she brought up about, the whether or not he was converting and all this other stuff. I mean, Candace just needs to say, hey, I was trying to convert him to Catholicism, but he was a devout Protestant, and that's about that. I mean, why even go through all of this if you didn't mean what you said?
She's posted a photo of her and Charlie and the kids in mass before, and somebody in the comment section said, "Oh, are you guys converting?" And she said, "No, we just like attending sometimes." So she herself had said no.
Yeah,
publicly.
and I think Charlie, one of the things, Charlie really hated worshiping in like a gym, or some sort of kind of blank space that you just turn into church. There's no problem. He didn't have a problem with the act of that. He just didn't prefer it. And he loved, again, the ritual, the ancient, feel of a Catholic mass, and the fact that everybody around the world that was worshiping as Catholic, he loved that. So he had some really big theological hangups with that. You can go check the videos out, him debating with Michael Knowles, in good fun. I mean, they were dear friends, but they loved kind of debating the whole Protestant versus Catholic thing.
So I didn't lie about anything. And yeah, he was attending mass. And so usually if you are ritualistically attending mass, meaning he likes a ritual of it, I'm not sure what that means. Like, I don't understand what we're doing. It just feels weird.
No, it's just the fact that you said that he was praying to the rosary as if he was changing his mind or converting to something else. You got to be careful on the words that you use, especially when you have a large platform with 5 million supporters on YouTube alone. That's not including her X account or Instagram. I don't know if she has Instagram, but that's not including her X account. So you have to be careful on the things that you say. But I just wanted to play that portion so that people can know that this is his best friend here. His best friend here who was able to speak on his behalf, and there's a little bit more here. We're going to play that part regarding the 150 million. She mentioned something about $150 million. So let's get back to that.
If you are ritualistically attending mass, meaning he likes a ritual of it, I'm not sure what that means. Like, I don't understand what we're doing. It just feels weird. And to say he converted to Christian, Catholics are Christian. So he said, like, I think Andrew said, I converted to Christianity. I went from being a cradle Catholic. And yeah, there was no question that Erica and Charlie were attending the mass. And that's what I said. And I said that he was praying the rosary. And there's no dispute there. I never said he started converting to Catholicism. I said that the Catholics were kind of thinking, take the next step, Charlie, take the next step. And I don't think it was just architectural for him, far be it from me, to speak on behalf of whether he was just attending because he likes the architecture. I think it was a little deeper than that. And I agree that he did have some hangups, but that's kind of when you make that thing of like, he didn't really like having church in a gym. That's a step, right? So for me, that was a step where I was going, okay, like I want something that feels a little bit deeper. It's a journey. Nobody was trying to start a Catholic versus Protestant war. I just shared something about, my final conversations with him. And a lot of the conversations were about faith towards the end.
When was the last time you
that's
conversed?
Not a big deal. Anyways, then they get to the second portion of something that I didn't say. Nobody said the number 150 million. or I didn't say the number, Tucker didn't. I don't know where the 150 million number came from. If I'm being honest, I said 150 million was what BB spent on Operation Mocking Pastor. Now, the way they're going to answer this question about whether or not Charlie was offered money, Israeli money, is interesting. Take a listen.
Was Charlie offered $150 million from Israel?
As far as I know, no.
I had never heard anything like that. Everyone I've asked has said the same thing.
And by the way, just for what it's worth, it doesn't matter the amount that would have been coming down. We would have said no.
And there's evidence that is true.
Turning Point does not, Charlie would not accept foreign money.
Exactly.
We only took American money.
Yep.
There was money sent to us, like practically in multiple instances where they're trying to cram it down our bank account. And we said no, we canceled like money wires and things.
No foreign money. And also no handouts from the government. During the pandemic, 100%. He refused to do mass layoffs that everybody else in the country was doing. Said no to the whatever that check was. What was that they were handing out? Stimulus check.
Yeah. The PPE loans, right? I always get PPP and PPE mixed up, but
yeah. But it was a good amount of money that at the time we could have used.
Yeah.
He put out a company statement saying, this was tempting for sure, but we're going to say no.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very principled in that way.
He was extremely principled, especially on foreign money. I remember moments we'd be at like an event, and some foreign people would come up and like demand a meeting or try and get a meeting with Charlie, and Charlie would look at me and go, deal with them, get rid of them. Like, I don't want to talk to them.
Okay. So there is this thing called FARA, and every country, if they're going to influence people, if you're Qatar, if you're Iran, and you want to lobby on behalf of those countries, you have to register under FARA, so we know where that money is going into.
Well, I think that would be irrelevant considering the fact that he did not accept any foreign money at all. So I want to hear a little bit more of what the friend says as well on another topic here. So let's get to it.
The Turning Point affiliate employee, somebody adjacent to Turning Point, who removed the SD cards from the camera that was behind Charlie in the immediate aftermath of the shooting. Take a listen.
Why did our team start taking down cameras immediately? Was it just in shock and just thinking like this is what we do and just not thinking it's a crime scene?
I think massive shock. I think there's been some stories about the SD cards or whatever. That was because even in the shock, there was an understanding that the proximity of those cameras were A, going to be evidence, and they wanted to make sure that it didn't get stolen out of the cameras, but B, they didn't want anybody to run in. I mean, there was those videos of the kid running and grabbing the hats.
Yeah.
So there was an understanding. I mean, I talked to the team on that, and they said, because we know people can be evil.
Yeah.
And they grabbed the SD cards so that nobody could get that footage.
So that law enforcement could get it.
Did I answer your Maha question sufficiently? Yeah. Okay. He loved Maha.
Well,
he loved Maha moms too.
I think I would have probably pushed back and asked, okay, but now that, the feds have kind of been fumbling the ball just a lot of it, maybe just release everything and let the sleuths get on it and solve.
No, here's why you don't do that, because it can taint the evidence and it can taint the perception that the jury will have when it comes to the evidence. And then, of course, it could be considered obstruction of justice, Candace. You're interfering with the federal investigation, releasing evidence and exhibits that could be introduced in a criminal case. There's no internet sleuth that is, certified and licensed to process this evidence like this. And if they were, they will be working in that field. And if they've ever worked in that field, they know not to go back and do something like that, because you could be seen as obstructing. So no, that is bad advice. I am not a lawyer or an attorney, and I know not to sit here and just release evidence related to a federal investigation to the public for some internet sleuths to get their hands on and do whatever they're going to do with it. This is how you end up with more conspiracy theories. There's a reason why evidence does not get released as well with federal investigations, because you don't want the defendant to get a heads up either. You don't want to give the defense a better defense. And you don't want to risk the case being tossed out because the evidence is just being released out to the public all willy-nilly. It robs the defendant of a fair trial and a fair hearing. And next thing you know, the person is there's a mistrial and the person walks away. Then what? So Candace is not a licensed investigator. She's just not. And it doesn't seem like she understands how court works. So that would be a bad idea. No one should do that. And, if you have evidence, just turn it over. Turn it over to the investigators. So
could speak to and who you could be friends with. And Actually, by the way, we have a clip of Alex and Andrew speaking about that moral blackmail. Take a listen.
There's this great clip when we were in Myrtle Beach, and he got asked if, from somebody in the audience, if he was going to, debate Candace or, disavow Tucker. And Charlie's answer I thought was amazing. I remember he came off the stage. He was like, "Do you like that one?" And I was like,
he would always ask that for reassurance.
Yeah. He always loved like, "Did you see that? Did you really listen?
Yeah. Do I look good? Was that a good clip? Do you think that'll go viral?
Yeah. And I remember saying,
y'all look at the facial expression here. It's like she knows she's out of the loop so bad, and she wants to be in the loop. That's why she's taking over this investigation like this. It's like she wants to be back in the loop with Turning Point. But if you love what you're doing, Candace, and you enjoy having your own space and your own platform, then why do you feel like you need to overtake this investigation? And it's almost like some sort of and this is my personal opinion and feeling on this, a little bit of envious and jealousy coming through, because this guy, Andrew, I think, has seemed to be a lot more closer than Candace. And the look she shoots is just epic right now. It's like, burning a hole through his eyes.
like, yeah, I thought it was amazing. It was morally so crystal clear. And he basically said, I don't appreciate being morally blackmailed. And, and every time people would say that to him, he would dig his heels in. It's like, well, maybe Tucker's going to give 2 speeches now at MFest.
And that is the truth. We told you he said the same thing about when he was in the Hamptons, that he was feeling like he was morally blackmailed. He was telling people that he was digging his heels in further and saying, I'm going to bring Candace back. You guys kind of bullied this ending. And by the way, that clip.
He didn't say he wanted Candace back. He said, I'll bring Tucker on twice, but he didn't say anything about Candace, but okay.
If he's speaking about, I actually just saw it. It's from August, so the month before he lost his life. And here's Charlie in his own words about how he was feeling.
How was your relationship with Candace Owens? No,
she's a great friend. Look, I don't agree with everything Candace says, but you know what I don't do? I don't stop being friends with people just because people morally blackmail me. I don't do that, and you shouldn't either. I have different views on things as Candace. I have different views on Israel than Candace. I have different views on a lot of geopolitics. But honestly, I traveled the country with Candace. I went to her wedding. I saw her meet her husband. I went to Israel with Candace, which is a fun story I'll tell you at some point. But what I don't like is when people demand, you must stop being friends with somebody. Whoa. That's a left-wing tactic. Don't do that. I'm not saying you do that, but other people do that. We should never resort.
It's just a dirty tactic, okay? At some point, we got to break away from this left and right. If God ever decides to thump Yellowstone, he's not going to, have a certain section put aside for people in the left versus people on the right. No, everybody's going to catch that hot, fiery ash at the end. It's not going to matter what you belong to political-wise.
Resort to that. In fact, if you believe what I believe, shouldn't you want me to be friends with people that don't agree with us? Shouldn't you want me to also be a tool of influence? And so I think the world of Candace. She's a great mother. She certainly has very, very fun opinions at times. And she's a great talent. She says a lot of stuff that sometimes I don't agree with, but that's what makes our relationship and our friendship interesting. My advice to all of you, you might not like somebody, but never tell somebody like me to stop being friends with somebody on an interpersonal level just because of disagreement. It's bad. It's what the left does, and we should rise above it as conservatives. Thank you so much.
Charlie was a very loyal friend.
And you did not go to his funeral or his memorial service. So I think that's the perfect way to end this, because she should have been there for him. That's what makes it more disgusting, that you did not go to his memorial or his funeral, Candace. And it's supposed to you talking about you're going to listen to Power by Kanye West. You should have been there. If he was worth defending you, he thought the word of you to defend you in front of everybody when everybody was asking about the friendship with you and him, then you should have thought enough of him and held on to that moment and said, this moment is why I'm going to the memorial. I don't have to speak. I'm just going to be there. She has no excuse. She can get security. She's worth over $200 million. The money she's making from doing YouTube videos about his death would have covered more security if she needed it. So that's all I have for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the Lady Luck Club. Also, check out the description of the video for the partnership that we have with Dr. Squatch Products. Products will be tagged for you all to purchase. I do receive a commission on that. get you some soap and deodorant and toiletries today. And it will make great stocking stuffers as the holidays come around. And the proceeds of that goes towards the expenses of the channel, such as me getting a new, lighting, because I need another lighting. But thank you all so much for tuning in. And until the next one, Lady Luck Club out. Deuces.